My name is Dan Gilmet, and I'd like to welcome you to our basic game and design creation course. Sorry I can't be there the first day, but I'm going to give you a quick overview now of what to expect from the course, and along with the handouts you've gotten, you should be able to be well on your way to starting the assignments for the course. Yes, I said assignments already. Okay, so what are we going to be doing in the course this semester? Okay, well, the first thing we're going to do is obviously we're going to be learning Game Maker, but we're going to use Game Maker as the vehicle for us to learn game design. Notice the title of the course is Game Design and Creation. We want to make sure that we understand good game design, and this will, for those of you taking other game design courses here, the foundations that you're going to learn in this course will be very applicable to every other course that we take. Okay, so how are we going to be doing it? Well, it's going to be a combination of lecture, of course, discussion, and hands-on in the classroom. It's going to be interactive. It means you've got to participate. Nobody on the planet wants to listen to me for 2.5 hours. So that's up to you. If you don't want to suffer it, you need to participate, okay? And what do I expect from you? Well, the L word, okay? You're going to have to do some learning. Okay, hopefully we'll have some fun along the way while we're doing it, and maybe get you a bit excited about game design, or at least, peel back the curtain so we can see what's going on there. The goal is for you to understand a bit more about how we put together good games, not just games, but good games. And maybe we can identify for when we buy games of our own whether something's going to be a good game or not. Unfortunately, you will not be creating a sequel to World of Warcraft or Gears of War in this class. I'm sorry to disappoint all of you. A little above and beyond what we're going to be able to do in this course. Headphones in class. You're going to be allowed to use headphones in the class, but only when I give you permission to do so. For instance, if you're building some games in class, which we'll be doing quite a bit, we're going to sit there and you'll have the ability to use your headphones so you can hear when you're creating sounds for it and everything. Okay. Now, the next item is probably the most important thing we're going to cover today, and it's not testable. MSDNAA, Microsoft Developers Network Academic Alliance. Okay, right here. Okay, we pay Uncle Bill and Microsoft so much a year, and you are allowed to go to our library here at Sierra Vista campus or the Douglas campus, but I think primarily here in Sierra Vista campus, and you can download, or excuse me, not download, but you can actually sit there and sign out the Windows operating system, Windows 7, Windows Vista, I think Windows XP is still there, and get a legitimate license for it. Same thing with Microsoft Visio, Visual Studio Professional, no Office though, I'm sorry to say. Okay, you'll have to do that on your own. Bill and Melissa need to keep the money coming for their mansion. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the procedure sheet now. Okay, and I'm going to highlight just a couple of things in it. Okay. The first thing is the email address. Use my Cochise College email address if you're going to get a hold of me. Not my Hotmail, not my Yahoo, not my Gmail, or any of the other 1 million emails that I have. Use my Cochise College one. If I haven't responded to you sometime in, 24 to 36 hours, I probably didn't get it. Okay? You can see where my room is. It's right next to the building our classroom is in, so it's very easy to get a hold of. There are no office hours per se in the summertime, so if you want to have a meeting with me and just don't want to take a chance I'm in my office, please go ahead and make sure that you drop me an email and we can make an appointment. Okay. Now, other things I wanted to talk to you about is over here on page 2. What does it take to do really well in the class? Well, show up, obviously. You need to be on time. You need to be prepared, which means reading the chapter readings before the class session that we started on. That's my assumption, and I'm going to hit the high points, and then we're going to be adding material that's not in the chapter or doing hands-ons or things like that. And if you miss something in that chapter, and all the chapters except for a couple are building games while you're doing it, so you need to build those games. Turn in your assignments on time, and make sure you follow the directions and you've turned everything in. For instance, the midterm and the final projects have a game and a game design document. Okay? Don't be afraid to ask questions. I'm guaranteeing you somebody else has got the same question. Okay? And have patience. We will get this all clicking together. Okay? When you get graded, there's going to be a final game and a midterm game, and like I said, there's a game design document associated with that. There are 5 different homework assignments that are individual work. There are going to be 4 quizzes, and you're going to take these quizzes from within web study, but it's going to be at the beginning of a class, and they are closed book, closed note, and closed neighbors. So it behooves you to pay attention to the lectures in class because that is primarily where it comes from. There's also a class participation grade. That's a subjective grade from me that should be the easiest A you ever get in college. What we want you to do is behave in class, be courteous to fellow students, don't be carrying conversations while other things are going on, don't answer the phone in the middle of class. You know, basically the golden rule. Okay, should be very easy for everybody to get 90% or higher on this. Okay. Now, other things are important, and you should take a look at those. And by the way, here is where the points are, and you will see that the final project's worth a quarter of your grade. So we're building on everything, but don't get cocky if you start doing well early. Okay. But the most important thing is the schedule. Okay. And if we take a look, you'll see that there's the session number, the date, what we're intending to do, and the items that are due that day. Now, they may be at the end of class, like homework 1 is, or they may be at the beginning of class, like homework 2. So pay attention to what is here. The same information will be contained up in web study as well. Okay. Since our quizzes are going to be at the beginning of those days, try not to be late, because if you are, we will probably not let you retake the quiz. Okay. So let's just be careful with that. Now, I'll give you a minute to take a look at this, and by the way, the slides are going to be posted as well up on web study. But the whole point of this particular one is read the requirements for the problems. I especially like the one here where they sit there and question if they're in college. Okay, so bottom line, please make sure you sit there and read what the requirements for each assignment are, and they will differ, so that you can make sure you turn in the right assignment. Now, about the midterm and final projects. Okay, again, there's going to be a game design document, sometimes referred to as GDD, and Game Maker, and you'll notice June 28th and July 21st are those deadlines. We will talk more about game design documents during session 4. That's when you're going to be introduced to what a game design document is and the expectations for the course. Okay. Now, what we're going to use is we are going to use version 8.1 of Game Maker. This is not what came in your book. So you're going to need to go to www.yoyogames.com, and you're going to need to sit there and download and install it. It's about 12 megabytes if I remember correctly, so it's not something I can put inside of web study. Okay, use the defaults, but remember where you install it, so if there's any debugging we have to do, it gives me a fighting chance to find where it is. This version of Game Maker works on XP and Vista and Windows 7, so you should not have a problem with it. Okay, I'm currently running it on Windows 7 64-bit Professional. Okay, you should start it up in advanced mode, even though the book sort of tells you not to. You should get used to it right away. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the application now. Okay, so wherever you would have it, you would go ahead and start Game Maker. I have mine pinned to my taskbar. And when it first comes up, you're going to see this particular item. Don't worry about it. That's if you buy the Professional. Okay, this is the only course in our game design degree that uses Game Maker. The Professional does have a lot of nice features. I think there's a special going on now through 1 June or something like that. You can buy it for $25 and it goes up to $40. So in this case, every time you see it, you're just going to drop it. Now they do sit there and give you some news. I usually don't like to see that, so I go up to the window and tell it to close all, and there's Game Maker. Okay. Now, of a special importance because of the homework assignment that's coming up is Game Maker comes with some tutorials. And you'll notice mine's not showing up. By default, yours should. But for instance, if you for some reason you turn it off, you can go under Help, go to Tutorials, and click on your first game. And you'll see over here this tab on the side. You will sit there and be able to walk through, and all these resources are provided for you, building this simple little game. Now, it says it'll take just 30 minutes. For most of you, that's probably going to be closer to an hour. Okay, but it's very simple to walk through. It's another way. They've actually got a second game as well that when you have time, you can do that. But this one is very similar to what your homework 1 assignment is. Hint, hint. So they might be a good idea to go through this. Okay. Now, when it asks later on during the tutorial for where resources are, yours by default should come up to the right place. But if it doesn't, you can find where GameMaker installed your resources by going to the Start button, going to All Programs, finding the GameMaker 8.1. When you scroll it, you'll see there's tutorials and things. And when you click on it, now I can see where it is. And you'll see that I've got all sorts of items here that I can use. And there's my sprites, and there's the sprites for tutorial 1, so that's where I can find where they are. Okay. Now, one of the things you need to do is save early and save often. This is the quick save right here, or you can do a file save as. Okay, and the reason you want to save often is before you run a game. And by the way, you can run a game by either using the run menu or clicking the green arrow up here. And we'll talk about the debug version of running a little later on in the course. You always want to save it. Every now and then you may have a game that runs that you can't quit out of, or you get an error, and you may have to use the task manager to quit the game. Well, when you do that, most of the time it will come right back here and no harm, no foul. Sometimes you'll lose your work, so you want to make sure you save before you sit there and run it. Okay, so hopefully that was a quick little drive through of how to use the basics of GameMaker. Okay, now speaking of homework 1, homework 1 is due June 2nd at the end of class. Yes, I know, that's next class period. This is a fairly simple one, and it is very similar to that tutorial, like I said, so you should not have too much problem with this. Now, the resources I've already posted up on our assignment area in Web Study. So when you go up to Web Study, you'll be able to find it. And I'm going to go back to where I was. Got to find where the homework is. There it is. Now, if we look at the homework, you'll see there's certain required elements that you have to do. Remember, this first project is so that we can sit there and get a good grasp of the basics. So no ad-libbing on that one. Okay. However, because I know some of you will pick it up faster than others, there are 10 points of extra credit. Okay. Up to 5 points for adding some background music. Okay. Be sure you want to try to keep it small. Sound can really expand the size of your GameMaker files. Also, 5 points for anything else that you add that are above and beyond the requirements, and you can earn no more than 10 extra credit points overall. Actually, that's a typo. I was debating between 10 and 20 and decided on 10. Okay. But make sure you meet all the minimum requirements first. Okay. Now, there will be class time on June 2nd for us to sit there and work on this. Okay. Well, that's all I have for now. Looking forward to seeing you in class, and I'm going to sign off now.